Go, you mighty Gamescom Power Rangers!
Hey everyone, it's Alessandria from Lazygamer.net. I'm sitting with Andy, the executive producer from Hangar 13, executive producer on Mafia, a brand new game that 2K revealed just this week, and one that's got a lot of people very excited. Have you had a lot of positive feedback from the game already?
Yeah, we have. There's been a lot of smiling faces leaving our demos, and that's translated into lots of nice things being written about us, which is awesome, because we obviously work very hard on these things in secret, and when you can sort of show it publicly for the first time, you're always a bit nervous about what reaction you're going to get.
Yeah, that public showing came earlier this week with the cinematic trailer that you showed us, which revealed a brand new protagonist, Lincoln. Can you tell us a bit more about him and his background in the story?
Sure. So Lincoln is a sort of disenfranchised Vietnam veteran. He's also an orphan, so he's always been searching, like his entire life, for this sense of family and belonging, which he's never managed to find. And when he returns from his tour of Vietnam, he comes back to our version of New Orleans, our reimagined version of New Orleans in 1968, and he falls in with the black mob through a favour to a friend. And that's where he actually finds that sense of family for the very first time. But the inciting incident in the game occurs when the Italian mob betrays the black mob and wipes out this newfound family. I think it's the only survivor, and that kind of kicks off our story where he wages war against the Italian mob, tries to unpick their criminal infrastructure in the city.
And the Italian mob was a big part of Mafia 2, and especially the first one. Do those stories kind of tie into Lincoln's adventure, or is it a completely separate tale to everything else that has been made within the series?
Mafia 3 is a self-enclosed tale. I think anyone, you don't need to have played the previous games to understand it. However, we do have certain narrative connections back, and Vito Scaletta is returning, and he's the protagonist from Mafia 2. So we're going to find a bit about what happened to him in the intervening years and why he is where he is. And he obviously plays a very key role as one of Lincoln's lieutenants in this game as well. So everything sits within the Mafia universe, if you will. But then this is a self-contained narrative about this character.
And speaking of narrative, you just spoke about Lincoln coming back from the Vietnamese War. So you've got a New Orleans that's also rife with political tension, but it's also set at a time where racial tension was at a high, and having Lincoln as of mixed ethnicity, it presents you with interesting narrative threads that you can follow. Will we see more exposition into the culture wars that happened within the United States at that time?
Yeah, you absolutely will. I mean, some of the stuff we've been shown in the demo is a small hint of that. There's a lot of environmental storytelling to put that across. We don't want to just smack people over the head with it in endless cinematics. It's going to feature in the cinematic content, but when you're walking through the world, the characters are going to react differently to you because of who you are, and particularly because of what neighborhood you're in. There are various different districts in the city with different ethnicities and racial makeup, depending on where you are. So you're gonna get some of that for sure. You're gonna see things happening in the world that reflect the time period. You're gonna hear the AI saying certain things, which are again going to reflect the time period, because we feel it's extremely important to be authentic, and particularly with these issues. If we shied away from it, that would feel like a huge cop out. So we're not going to do that.
And a missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely a missed opportunity. Yeah.
And I mean, just in the demo, especially when you started, I saw Lincoln walking down it was night, it was a street, and people would stare at him. He came across a policeman accosting a couple as well. Are those just dynamic elements thrown into the world that Lincoln will be able to interact with?
Yeah, absolutely. And dynamic is the word, actually, because that particular event that's occurring, it's not something we are going to just have in scripted places in the world. These things will spring up and occur somewhat organically around the world. And again, the pedestrians, we're looking at who these pedestrians are. What background are they from? How would they react to Lincoln? And that sort of changes the way that they interact with you as a character.
Moving on to gameplay. Now, Mafia has always been heavily narrative focused, but it's also a very solid third-person shooter. And we got to see Lincoln assaulting a hideout from the Italian mob after interrogating someone in a cemetery. One thing that really stood out was just how brutal it was. It's really violent. He's really, angry. You can kind of feel that anger punctuated into his action. Was that a result of the narrative where it's gone, or did you just want to make a brutal game?
It's definitely a result of the narrative. It's about who Lincoln is. You know, like he's this former Vietnam
Veteran,
he's a Vietnam veteran. Like he's a big, powerful character. He's got the training to be able to take people out quickly, and so very much like he's this force of nature, and we wanted it to be, we wanted it to feel authentic in that way too. But also, you know, this is rival mob and gangs,
and they killed his family essentially.
Yeah, you know, that it's unlikely that they would treat each other with kid gloves. So you know, we're fighting that in the game.
One of my favorite parts of the demo was just the authenticity of New Orleans at the time. I mean, near the end, you have Lincoln in a car, and he's riding around being chased by enemies, and you have like Rolling Stones' Pen in Black playing in the background. You know, a very iconic song of the time. How important was it to get that setting right in the game?
The city is one of our characters. It's possibly, you know, apart from Lincoln, it's the most important character, and that's the thing about Mafia is it's always had that sense of time and place just nailed, you know, and we really want that for this game as well. And it does extend to the soundtrack. You know, that is such an awesome era for music for us to pull from, and you know, what you've heard is just a taster of it. And we're hoping to unearth a few forgotten classics as well. You know, we'd like to sort of pull a bit of a Pulp Fiction and sort of put some songs in there that then become recognisable again because brought back.
You already remind me of a lot of southern classics there, just because it's like near the bayou and everything like that. So So just to round things off, Mafia 3, it's a brand new game from 2K. When can players expect to get their hands on it?
So it's going to be out next year in 2016, and it's on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC.
Fantastic. It was a highlight to see that game here at Gamescom. It's one of the best games I've seen, and I wish you well on the rest of the development. Thanks very much.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.